Good evening, guys. So I'm just going to talk us through the last and final task for finding and reading information. I'm sure most of you are quite happy that we're finishing this unit and this is the last bit. So task 3, what we need to do is first of all, we need to be able to have all completed the homework sheets on inference and irony, because this last task is get us to study implicit meaning. So what is implicit meaning? How can different people interpret things? So you've all today participated in a PowerPoint and discussion with myself and Paul about implicit meaning, what are the different types. So we've sent you home to complete these 2 worksheets. So the first one was the inferences worksheet, and the other one was the identifying irony worksheet. So I wanted you to make sure you've all completed these 2 before we actually start the task for the unit. So these would have been done. You would have got your answers to bring with you for next week. So once you've done that, what we're going to now be doing next is we're going to be looking at the implicit meaning advertisement texts. So these are images. So we have at least 3 images here that you would have looked at. So myself and Paul showed you these in class, and we did look at the first one. But I'm going to have another look again to make sure you're confident with the exercise you need to do. So the first one, okay, so Marmite definitely does you good and you'll enjoy it too. So this is an example of implicit meaning. Okay, so basically this product, this advertisement is getting you to assume that this is really good for you, that it helps with, it's part of the traditional family values. If you taste this, you'll enjoy it. So they're trying to get you to buy it, to really think, yes, Marmite, we want it, it tastes good, my family will be happy if we buy it, this is the way forward. So what I'm wanting you to do is to have a look through these different images that you can see here, and I'm wanting you to try and have a look at the questions at the back. So me and Paul listed about 7 or 8 questions to get you thinking about each different image. So for example, with the Marmite, what associations are they making with this image? To what extent does tradition play a role in the actual image? Does the use of colour and size of the product help convey anything to you? For what purpose? Does the image portray a trusted source to try and sell a product? So if you look, for example, at Coca-Cola, you'll see that you will have a trusted professional, a nurse, trying to basically make Coca-Cola look amazing, looks brilliant. And you can see on this image, they're saying that this is quality you can trust. And you've got a beautiful nurse who's looks quite clear, well presented, lovely straight teeth, a glass of Coca-Cola with icing on her hand. You can see they're trying to bring in the American diner at the back with the Coke box. What are the different colours? So you can hopefully, although this is black and white, you can see here that they're really trying to sell Coca-Cola to you, make it look good, make it look fashionable. You can want a sip of this, you can chill, you can relax. So there's lots of examples of implicit meaning there. So we want you to look at these different images, write some notes for each one, answer the questions at the back. So there's an extensive amount of guidance there to help you with this task. Once you've done this, you've answered the questions, your next and final bit is where you need to, just pausing there. As you're answering those questions, please try and bring in the different types of implicit meaning. So for example, assumption, connotation, inference is any examples of hint or suggestion. So as you're answering those questions, try and be mindful of these key words, phrases that we're looking for. Okay, because that's part of the assessment criteria for 3.1. So you've answered those questions, you've made links to these key words. Your last and final bit is where you're going to write a 250 word explanation looking at how these images incorporate implicit meaning. Okay, so you're going to do 250 words explaining implicit meaning using those key words. Your final bit is where you're going to do another 250 words evaluating effect and purpose of implied meaning. So for the evaluation, so for this bit now, what you're trying to do is you're going to evaluate these images. Do people buy into these images? Does it really work? So for below, so for 3.1, so if you look here, I'm not sure if Paul can zoom in onto this, but for 3.1, you explain your implicit meaning. You're looking at different examples. So sarcasm, connotation, allusion, irony. You're evaluating the above in 3.1. So does that really work? Does that product look absolutely amazing? Does it look Coca-Cola? Is it a trusting product that you can buy and enjoy? So do the images work? For what purpose do they work? That's what we're wanting you to do, what you to think about. So will people want to buy a glass of Coca-Cola? Will people want Marmite, would they not? So you're evaluating a purpose. Okay, so you've only got 250 words for your evaluation for that bit. So just to summarise, so for task 3, we're looking at implicit meaning. You've got some homework sheets to help you get thinking about implicit meaning. Once you've done that, you're going to look at the 3-4 images here, the advertisement images. You're going to answer the questions at the back in relation to the images. You don't need to look at all of those questions for each one. You may find only a few are applicable for that image. Once you've answered those questions, you're then going to do 250 words explaining how these images incorporate implicit meaning into the advertisement, using the keywords that are on this flip chart and also in your SAMA brief. Once you've done that, you're then going to do another 250 words where you're just going to evaluate the effect and purpose of the examples of implied meaning. Okay, so altogether we have 500 words for your last and final task. Okay, so use the homework sheets, look at these images, answer the question at the back. You do that, hopefully you'll have the task in the bag and done. Good luck.